Everyone was shocked when they watched the guard swarm in. They looked at each other in confusion for some time. "Officer, what is the matter?" Florence braced herself and asked. She had never witnessed such an occasion as a civilian. Even if she did not do anything illegal, she still felt guilty. "I'm asking, who is Dahlia Nicholson?" The officer spoke in a somber tone with a hostile look in his eyes. "I am." Dahlia slowly stood up and put on a brave face as she asked, "What can I do for you, officer?" "According to our investigations, you are collaborating with the enemy. You are accused of being a spy planted by the West. Come with us immediately to assist in the investigation," the officer announced. Collaborating with the enemy? A traitor? Everyone was shocked at his accusation. That didn't seem plausible. Dahlia was born and raised in Swinton. She wasn't mixed in any way. Even her ancestors were all ordinary farmers. How could she end up being a traitor? "Officer, is there a mistake? My daughter is a model citizen. She pays her taxes every year and even donates to charity. How is it possible that she's a traitor?" Florence asked in shock. "That's right. My sister is innocent. You shouldn't spew nonsense." James slammed the table and stood up unhappily. "We will find out whether this is a mistake after the investigation." The guard answered coldly. "Is there even a need? We can testify." "That's right. Dahlia is definitely not a traitor." Everyone spoke out in support. They were very clear about Dahlia's conduct. It would be more plausible that she manipulated the market, but being a traitor to the country was not possible. "I'm just following orders. Anyone who stops me will be deemed an accomplice." The officer started to get impatient. "You wouldn't dare." James glared at him. "Do you know who we are? You wouldn't live to see daylight if you dared touch a single hair on my sister." "Huh! There is solid evidence of Dahlia Nicholson's collusion with the enemy country. Anyone who obstructs the arrest must be an accomplice. If that's the case, take them all away. Anyone who resists will be shot." At the officer's order, all the soldiers raised their guns one after another. The cold gun barrel aimed at the people in the room felt very menacing. In an instant, everyone froze. You. James wanted to say something, but Dahlia quickly stopped him. "Everyone, keep calm. I believe after there must be some misunderstanding. I'm sure they will let me go the investigation." The officer snorted coldly at these words. They were the ones who decided whether this was a misunderstanding or not. "Take them away," the officer ordered, and everyone was taken to the car. The car stopped at the gates of the Spanner Villa 20 minutes later. "Officer, this doesn't look like a place for investigations," Florence asked with uncertainty. "Stop talking nonsense. Go in." The officer couldn't bother to say more and forced everyone inside the villa. Everyone realized something was off once they walked into the courtyard. 2 white flags were hung on each side of the door, and in the middle of the living room was a coffin. Trevor's portrait greeted them. "Sir Spanner?" Everyone widened their eyes in confusion. As for Dahlia, she started to feel uneasy. She realized she must have walked into a trap. "Is everyone here?" Just when everyone was left wondering, a burly Travis walked out imposingly. His sharp eyes and menacing stance felt so overbearing some couldn't breathe. "Sir, everyone related is here," the officer replied. "Okay?" Travis nodded, his gaze swept through the crowd, and he continued, "My name is Travis Spanner. I'm from the Western War Zone with the position of a general. I believe some of you may have heard of me." "Travis Spanner? General?" Everyone's face fell at these words. Chris was especially fearful. Others might not know it, but he knew very well how scary the Western War Zone was. Only one who was experienced in battle and had strong military control could obtain this position. Even the Mighty Three had to show their respect in the face of this man. In this world, money and status were far inferior to power. Rich people did not necessarily have power, but people with power must have money. This man before him was the prime example of someone with money and power. The point was his power came from the military. He could convict anyone of any crime in just a word. For example, treason. "I don't want to waste time, so I'll just ask one question. You'll survive if you answer honestly. Otherwise, you'll be convicted for the crime of treason." Travis threatened without beating around the bush. "General, we will fully cooperate with the investigation." Florence nodded, her legs trembling with fear. She had no choice. This man's demeanor was too domineering. "All right. Let me ask you, did my brother's death have anything to do with you?" Travis asked. The crowd got anxious as soon as he said those words. "No. It has nothing to do with us. We don't know anything." "Yes. We're all innocent." "General, you must be mistaken. We have nothing to do with Sir Spanner's death." Everyone shook their heads in fright. They would definitely lose their lives if they admitted to such a thing. "Is that so?" Travis snickered coldly. He waved his hand without another word and ordered, "Edward, take a look at these people." "I'm coming." Edward slowly limped out of the room. As his gaze fixed on Dahlia, he immediately took on a lustful expression. However, his lust quickly turned to resentment. Now that he had become crippled, he wouldn't feel anything even before this exquisite woman. Since he couldn't get her, he would rather destroy her. At this thought, Edward's face contorted into a nasty look. "Uncle! It's her, Dahlia. My dad's death must have something to do with her." Edward pointed at Dahlia, then turned around and pointed at Chris, shouting, "And him. He also has a grudge against me. He might be suspicious too."